Good morning, everyone. This is Kathy Mason from Mason Works Marketing on Conscious Business Zone with Eileen. Hi, Eileen.
Hi.
Koenigsberg. And this is a new interface with B-Lot. Yeah, we're both fixing our hair.
What's going on there?
I know. Oh, well, blame it on the weather since it's 14 degrees out right now and it snowed again last night. So anyway, well, Eileen, I'm so glad you're here. Eileen lives up in the mountains, so hopefully she didn't have to drive anywhere this morning. No? Oh, good. Oh, good. So I want to tell you a little bit about Eileen so that you'll understand why I'm so excited to introduce her to you. She's a life mastery catalyst. She has a fantastic story and a way that she works with life that's very courageous and very productive. And so I hope that she'll be able to explain a little bit about that journey for us today, because that's what I think a big part of her offering is. It's a way to focus, get clear, and be really on target with what you want to create, right?
Exactly.
So Eileen, will you start with telling us a little bit about your journey to being a life mastery catalyst? I know you're an architect.
Yes, so I'm an architect. And when I was back in my 20s, I think my path really starts when I had a near-death experience.
I was being a life mastery. Hold on, I gotta take. Okay, sorry. News is set up. Sorry about that. Okay.
Yeah. So when I was about 8, the day before my 8th birthday, I fell down some stairs at my uncle's house, and I was in a space that I didn't actually realize I was in a beyond the veil near-death experience then, because I didn't really explain it. I didn't want to tell anyone about it because I didn't want anyone to take it away from me. But it was amazing. I saw beings and light beings that were in a circle gathering around me. One was holding me. It was at this depth of, I'm going to start crying. It just felt so much unconditional love and so vast light and love and amazing concern. And I could hear them telepathically talking with each other. And yet I could see myself, as a child in my father's lap, and they were concerned about me, and they called the doctor. I saw my mom call the doctor, but I was in both spaces, and it was amazing. And eventually I realized that it was a life, a glimpse into beyond the veils. And I've never been, it's one thing that I draw on all the time, just to really know that there's way more to this world than meets the eye. And so, that sparked my interest. I also had an angel visit in my bedroom when I was older, a little bit older, maybe, but still in elementary school, or maybe 5th or 6th grade. And I heard my name whisper, and it was in my bedroom. It was, and she came to visit, and I got a bunch of what I would call download. It's like I just heard a lot of information with her, and I speak as a her because that's the voice I heard. It sounded female, but it's been an interest of mine all for as long as I can really remember, since those experiences especially. And so when I was in college, I learned to see auras when I was, one summer I had a friend that we were in a musical theater production together, and we would go out after rehearsal, and he taught me how to see auras, and so that was really cool. And so I practiced seeing them, and then when I went to Europe and I came back, I was a senior in college, and I had basically I had read about past lives, and I'd read about hypnosis with that, and I wanted to experience that and see what it was, what it would invite open into my life. And I found a place in Des Moines, Iowa, of all things, Des Moines, Iowa, that had a school of metaphysics that actually was advertised. I was going to school at Iowa State and in Ames, Iowa, and they had a daily newspaper. And in the back, there was a little ad about past life readings. And I was like, whoa, this is so cool. I'm going to call up and get one. So I called them up, and they said, yeah, we offer that. It was like $30 or something. And then they said, but we also, have a whole class. Maybe you'd be interested in this whole class coming up. And so they told me about the class, and they learned to meditate, and I learned, I'd get a past life reading at Finet, and it was only like $8 a week or something, and it was like, oh, let's do that. So I started doing a class, and I was involved with that for 2.5 years. I started teaching there. I started directing a center, in Chicago area in Palatine. And I was only in my 20s, right? So I had graduated from college, and I was trying to, learn the ropes of being an architect. And so it was kind of a dual path that I took. And so I've been teaching on and off ever since, really. And this more recently, I realized that, I've been doing healing, and I've been doing lots of different modalities, and I realized that the things I learned in that course, the basics of the universal laws and the focus of your mind and trusting the intuition are really key. And everyone, it would help so many people if they would just know and recognize them, and not just believe in positive thinking, and it's not positive thinking, but I know people are a lot more open to that now. They've done a lot more awareness, yoga training and stuff like that. And so this is, for me, this is what I find is I'm calling them life hacks. So biggest life hack I see is your focus, and really what you are focusing on, and your energy, whatever you emanate, that's what the universe responds to. And the universal laws, you've got angels, you've got guides, you've got a whole crew of helpers, and use them, utilize them, because you can create such amazing magic in your life. And so if you know the principles, the basic fundamental principles, and apply them, that is really, that's really a major life hack. And it's easy. It's really pretty easy. It's just
what's amazing about you is that, you can see your light when you meet you, and hopefully they'll be able to see it on this recording. But you have so much light, and it's the knowing, it's the purpose, the alignment with divine purpose that you emanate, which is wonderful. How was it like growing up, though, knowing all this stuff and being in Iowa and not being able to? I grew up in Ohio, and of course I didn't tell anybody anything. I was afraid of the consequences of that.
Yeah, in fact, my parents, they didn't really even know until, they knew when I was in the School of Metaphysics and all that stuff, but they didn't really understand my path until I wrote my book. And they asked me point blank, like, how did you even get it? Maybe it was even before the book, but right around that time. And they said, how did you even get interested in this? And I and I remember my mom one of the things that happened was my mom gave me a Reader's Digest condensed. We used to get those books, those
Yeah.
Reader's Digest condensed books, right? And there was one in there from Raymond Moody, and about past life, hypnosis, like past lives, remembering past lives. I was like, what? And so I was interesting that my mom gave that to me, rather than, she's like, you might be interested in this. And, if she knew that, then it was interesting that she kind of forgot about that. But yeah, they asked me, and I told them about my whole experiences and stuff. But even when I was in the School of Metaphysics, even when I was the director, I've had some experiences where people that I trusted, that I worked with, that I had shared it with, when I would say it, I shared it with personally. And then when I said it in the whole group or whatever, then that I was working with in an open office, he just mocked me. He disowned me. It was like, it was, oh, sheesh, So, and that was in Missouri. And I was like, oh my, that's okay. And I had been protecting myself from, that kind of where you feel like, okay, I'm going to get the shit thrown at me. And so, yeah, that, you're some loony or whatever. And
yeah, well, it's kind of, I think it's, you get to a point where you have to speak your truth, because people know you're different. They know that you're, dancing to a different drummer or something, because you don't have the same fears that they do. You're not looking at life in the same way that they are. When they're all talking, you're just like checking out because it's not important to you.
right.
I mean, so that's where I saw it, that but I was lucky that in my high school there were a lot of people that were gifted, that so that we didn't necessarily share it all. I think I still was hiding, but you knew
Yeah.
that angels around.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm surprised how many people have had near-death experiences, and that's what I am a volunteer for IONS, which is the International Association for Near-Death Studies. And for instance, there were over 450 people in Philadelphia this past year for their international convention, and everyone has their hearts wide open because they've touched where you touched and where you still intend on touching.
Yeah.
So we're coming from that space. The human is a divine, gifted, miraculous being. And so you as a mentor, as a coach, bringing that out, anyone would be thrilled to have that experience, to be coached by someone who's consciously pulling that out of you, rather than all your traumas and dramas. Let's rehash them again. I mean, like, next storyline, that one's over.
It is so true. If you focus on those onion peeling layers, it just creates more of it, right? You find more of it and you find more of it, and you never really, if you can just focus on okay, what do we want to create? And you're beautiful and you have so much love inside, and the universe has your back. Do you want to trust it? You want to try it? You want to check it out? So yeah, it is a great thing to draw on. Yeah.
When you work with people, could you give us some little information and share about maybe some wonderful results you've seen, or some supernatural things maybe, or whatever. Whatever. I mean, of course, we all want to know.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. The different things over the span of teaching different classes and such. I've had a lot of different people with very gifted. One of the things I live in, and you haven't been to my house, but we live in a really 10 acres of beautiful mountain land, and we have a medicine wheel on our land that is a Ute, Native American Ute Indian we've had it verified as much as we can, that it is, in fact, because of things that you see on it scientifically, growth of lichen and stuff, how long it's been there. And we have a lot of culturally modified trees on our land. And so it's a pretty sacred Native American area around here. And one of the things when I was teaching a class with some people up here, it was a 2-day seminar kind of workshop, and we went outside and we were around the wheel and had the class around the wheel, and it was very interesting because one of the persons in the class, one of the students, was very gifted, and he saw Native Americans in the trees coming up. He saw all these wonderful, they were concerned. I've also had other people on our land that, have noticed that. So I wasn't surprised. I can feel their presence. I've seen like one time we had a drumming and solstice ceremony around our land, and a friend of mine saw, he said, "Can you look over there and see those 3 Native Americans all in full headdress?" And I said, "I see 3 light pillars, I see them right there. Yes." And he said, "Yeah, they're," and that was Larry Cooper, Larry, yeah. and he described them, and it was amazing. And I'm like, okay, so we have been talking about keepers of the land, and so it's an interesting how, we got drawn to this land and said, yeah, we ran into the medicine wheel when because we built the house on this land. It was raw land, and there was medicine wheel on it. And we're like, yes, this is our land. We're gonna keep it, So we've had some cool things like that. But with people that I'm working with now, it's more like, what I'm trying to do is get them to see how they are intuitive, how they are, how they can trust and really trust their energy, and to really set it up, like deliberately. It seems like a lot of it's relationships. Sometimes it's money. It's people that really want to make an impact on the world, and through whatever medium they're doing, if it's art or classes or whatever, and their studies, and students as well, and what they're doing with their work. I think everybody feels like they're drawn to something, a higher purpose, and so everyone wants to be satisfied with and fulfilled, I would say, with their, the basics of home and relationships and work and what they're creating and what they're contributing to the world. And so I think that the classes, I'm actually doing a class. I'm doing a 4-week series, and it's basically going to start again in March. And it can be an ongoing, kind of like an ongoing, every week we're doing this, and it's an exercise. It's online. It's Sunday nights, and my next 4-part starts March 9th. So it's a couple weeks away, and so I can give you this on Eventbrite, and I just posted it on my wall, but I can give you that link as well. But it's a 4 Sunday evenings online, an hour and a half, and basically we do meditation, we get centered, we do our we talk about what we want to create, we work with focus, we work with the universal laws, we work with intuition and insights, and deliberately, what do we want in our lives? What do you want to attract? What do you want to, and noticing the nudges, and noticing how spirit works, how intuition works, how your insights come, and then really responding to them and setting it up for amazing weeks. And then each week we talk about how that worked. And so it's a deliberate application, hands-on, let's get this get this. We're in the physical. Let's get it done. Let's get some manifestations going. Let's.
That's great. That's great. So, are you seeing that people? I know you're starting this, so I don't know how many results you have, but are you seeing that it's like a master? It's like a conscious mastermind where people are actually doing their stuff, and it's kind of you're giving them the deadline of Sunday to get it done before that meeting.
I give them, I give them homework, and I give them things to do. They don't always do it, of course, but they're supposed to be working on it each week, and like I've seen one in particular. She was doing it with me a couple months, and well, she's did it with me a month, and then now she's again, and now it's like I can see that there's progress on relationships, right? So she's been recognizing that's been a bigger deal for her, and it's really I think it's helping her. Yeah, I know that she gets something out of it, but I don't have anything. I don't have anything specifically that I can say, except that I think she's ready to let that go and really create what she wants now. So yeah.
A safe space with other like-minded magical beings that is a fortification, because you work at home, you work out of your home, you have your family there, but I'm all by myself, so a lot of times being in group like that is so important. I want you to know, Elsie's here and Linda Kearns is here. Linda Kearns wrote, as a child, I would have a recurring dream, still quite vivid, possibly a past life, and I had experienced several, maybe dreams, of a presence. I would see a cloud walk towards me. My mother would say, no one is going to hurt you, which would make me accept it and not be feared. My mom had similar experiences. I always wondered why.
That's cool.
We all have had them, but we've either explained them in a different way or kept them to ourselves. And that's that whole conditioning into the human experience and taking on your family's values and perspectives rather than keeping your own. And that's just part of the journey here, I think, don't you?
Yeah. I think that's cool. And I would explain it as, spirit visiting you and someone that is in your immediate guidance team, I would call it. So, to me, those are just such special gifts. And if you remember it and recall it, then I've had some really cool experiences, even from people that have passed on or whatever, and they've visited in my dreams. And then my parents would call and said, hey, your piano teacher died. I'm like, oh, that's why she came to me in her dream, my dream, and some cool things like that. So I think that sometimes it's a guide that's there to let you know your some encouragement usually, or sometimes it's a greeting from someone that's passing and they just think of you and want to say hi and that, send their love kind of and let you know they're leaving or whatever. I had one friend that was, he was a college buddy and I loved him so much. And I didn't know after college, we kind of didn't keep in touch, but a friend of ours, a mutual friend, had kept in touch with him. And I found out that he had cancer. And then I found out that he died. And I was really mad. I was just pissed off that he didn't tell me. He didn't tell me. And I told him, I'm really, he knew I was really upset. His spirit, he came to me in a dream the next day. It was so cool. He's like, I could tell he sent all this love and he kind of like, whoa, I had no idea you cared that much. And, it was so sweet. It was like, so it was cool. So, I mean, you can, if you want to talk to people and just let them know that it passed, just let them know, because they will come to visit you as well.
Right, right. So do you feel that everyone, I mean, it's 2020 and you can feel that more and more and more people are waking up. That's why I think your project that you're doing is going to be so successful, helping so many people. Do you feel that we're able to get more? It feels like we can, this, I'll just say it. It feels like we can get more angels to help us. We can, I mean, we have our team, and it feels
Yeah.
like you can call in like some more players.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like the archangels and anybody. I mean, yeah, I think you're right. I think we can always call on more too, but it's almost like, um, yeah, I think there's an unending, who's ever interested, and I'm a musician as well. And so some of the things I've heard, and I haven't done much of this, but I've talked a little, like, it's interesting because I think I'm kind of shy about doing it, but I kind of, I've heard of people that are musicians that communicate with, say, John Lennon, or
Yeah.
and I think Amy Winehouse was one of the most amazing lyricists, actually, and performers. And so so I have that in the back of I'm like, I'm going to call on you. Are you ready? So I think there's ways that you can, if they want to, they might not want to. So of course, but
Oh, that's great. Rosie Neal says, "Oh my God, catching a live before I go live. Oh my God, hello, beautiful ladies." Rosie Neal's going on a live pretty soon. That's going to be amazing with Carrie Kay. So Rosie's another one of these magical beings. That's what I'm saying. The internet and Facebook is allowing us to create kind of a community now. And what you're offering is a way to be in community in a purposeful way, so you can fulfill your soul mission and really release the blocks to what's keeping you from that, right?
Yes, yeah, definitely. And I did actually also just start a Facebook group that is it's called Empowered, Aware, and Thriving Network, and it has that same intention. It's to become a community where people can share, if it's questions or advice or positive things, and if they're doing upliftment kind of services, they can share about that. And we have. I'm going to start next Friday, a week from tomorrow, some interviews as well. So of people.
Oh, great.
I'm you on there, Kathy. So.
Oh yeah. Well, I have to learn this new way that they're doing live first before I can train you, because I knew the other way in my sleep, kind of.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, well, so tell me a little bit more about how you see this evolutionary change in 2012, or excuse me, 2020. We had 2012, which was rebirth, kind of, and every year the energy has gotten stronger and stronger, and more people have been stepping up, speaking their truth. And I know for myself, I was scared to death to tell. I mean, and my parents aren't alive anymore, so they you couldn't get cut out of the will or or whatever, hear the back of it. You wrote your book with them still being alive, but I see, I mean, I think that there's just thousands and thousands of us now that are connecting. And how do you see all of this working?
Well, it's interesting. I think there's a point for just the evolution of our natural evolution in our society, as well as for me, as personal growth. Like I found that maybe it's because I'm in my 50s now, but I feel less and less concerned about what other people think about me.
Right,
And I think that is when we were taught, as a child, we had these grade schools where we were in a group and you're constantly, you know, trying to be the same as everybody else or to fit in. And I think that's still happening to some extent, depending on the school you go to and the kids go to. But I see a lot more openness, and the Gen Xers and everyone seems to be a lot more casual work day. You have a lot more talk about things like this in the office, even where you can. I was working downtown for a architectural firm a couple years ago, and it was. I mean, you could feel there was some. You didn't want to say too much, but you could feel there was some stuff that's been changing. I think definitely over the internet is changing. Our politics, things are changing. There's a kind of a uprising. I think there's things that are happening all over in all sorts of different parts of the culture. My daughter is just, you know, helping me to see how it's changing in the 20-something-year-olds and well, all of my kids actually, you know, what they focus on, and podcasting, and everyone, you know, doing their own news shows. And I mean, it's just amazing actually how much information we have access to, and how much people are willing to share about their journeys and respect and honor everyone else's. And it's amazing. I think there's a lot changing, and boy, 2020 is a great number, isn't it?
Yes.
And today's 220.
Today's a special 2 day. And in 2 days, there'll be another 2.
Yeah.
Well, I want you to say, Zach Bergen's saying he's listening, and he said ask. So Zach, I'm waiting for you to have something profound to say. And Elsie says, many of us who have been influenced to be as rational as possible struggle with being open and inviting the guides in. What can Eileen suggest to help with being more open?
Oh, that's a good question. That's a great question. Well, Elsie, I think that there's a couple of things that come to mind. And really, if you meditate, if you have a meditation practice, a quiet nature walk, I have a little symbol. From my guide, she tickles the inside of my ear, and it's usually the left ear. And it doesn't do that much as much now, but I called on it. I called her to give me a sign. And so I would ask yours to give you a sign, and make it an intentional thing. I would do it you could just do it right before meditation, or, you know, during a meditation, just have that intention. And it doesn't mean that it'll come exactly right then, but just open and aware to seeing what you notice. Sometimes it's a tickle on your nose, somewhere that you cannot reach. I mean, I cannot reach inside my ear, and it's like this. I mean, it's like somebody's doing a feather. I mean, it's like it's definitely someone moving, and a little tickle in there, and I love it. But usually it's for me, what she tickles, it's like I've asked her to help me with something, and then she'll have me notice my thought that I just had. It's like a signal to me to come back and rethink what I just thought. And, you know, is it something that's helpful, or is it something that's not helpful? So she gives me kind of a, hey, little ring in the bell. Some people probably get other things. I know Sinead O'Connor has an amazing song about one that with hers. So
that's cool. That's very cool. Well, and so it's the ringing in the ears at times she gets. So that's so I sometimes get a buzz, and I get it on my right ear, not my left. I get downloads, and that's where they've always. And I used to say, please, could you talk slower? So I can understand, but now I realize it's a package. It's not necessarily when they talk, but when I get something, it may be a bundle of stuff that needs to be unpacked.
Yeah, probably a chunk of energy, right? Almost like it's a vibrational transmission, and then you translate it and understand it. Yeah, that's
But
cool.
I remember as a kid going, did you guys hear that? Did you get that? No, everyone's going, get what? Okay, I'm not saying that. Um, so Eileen, what do you feel that these skills help you balance your life better? Because
Oh,
that's what a
definitely.
lot of people out of balance, including me sometimes.
Yeah, I think it really helps. I noticed that if I don't use them, like when I took a break for a month, we took a break at Christmas, the month of December, and I was like, and there's so much going on that month, and I understood why we took a break, but to me it was like, oh my gosh, I really miss even just that class of being, because then by teaching it, it made me be extra
Yeah.
careful, right? And I'm like, oh, this is why they had us teach when we were. When I was in my 20s at that school, and how I've taught, because I know that when I teach, I'm a lot more active with it, and if I don't do my daily meditation, if I don't do my daily routine, I am a little bit less centered, and I especially if I do it less than, if I miss a day or two or three, then pretty soon it's like, oh, I'm caught up in the drama or whatever. So because I like to stay aware of what's going on in the physical. I'm not a person that I is an ostrich that sticks my head in the sand. I want to know what's going on in our country and in the news, but I at the same time so that is easy. It's easy to get off balance with the drama that happens, especially news channels and that kind of stuff. So meditation, yoga, centering, walking in nature, hiking,
Yeah.
lots of good positive list of positive aspects, lots of good ways to just stay balanced that are really simple. And just if you do it every day or do have a routine, I think that's really important. For me, it is. So
Yeah. Yeah. So have you found that the techniques that you used in the 20s are they're obviously timeless, but are they still, are you upgrading them for our times, or are they, I mean, when you look at the ancient cultures, the indigenous, a lot of the things that they held sacred are what we're bringing back now and getting back to. Are you seeing that what you were doing in the metaphysical schools in your 20s, so 30 years ago, have they been updated?
they've been updated to suit me in a sense, but those were based on, a lot of that was yogi teachings, Paramahansa Yogananda and the Self-Realization Fellowship type of stuff. And so meditation, yoga, and they didn't teach yoga like the physical action. They taught meditation, yoga of the mind, and the principles that way. And so yeah, I think those are timeless, and focus and being here now, all of that stuff, the updated versions of that, you bring that in, of course. A lot of the Abraham Hicks techniques are kind of based in some of those principles as well. And I like a lot of her techniques and what she's shared with the world. We use variations of those, and some of my own stuff. Of course, that's just kind of whatever comes sometimes, it just intuitive, letting it flow, of course. So
Well, the reason why I asked is a lot of coaches have you to create this balance wheel, and you see your pie chart, and you see, oh, I'm so out of balance, you know, where work is too much or family's too much and you can't get any work done. I forget all the different, but exercise, it's health. There's all these quadrants. Do
Mhm.
you use something like that, or is that you intuit?
I usually hand that out at the beginning just to see if what people want, especially if I'm doing a one-on-one coaching with them, then we'll make specific goals and we'll do the wheel of life, I call it, where they have maybe 10 categories around your life and what do you want to work on and what do you, but there was a point where I felt like, oh, I have to be balanced in all of these areas. And it's like, well, if you want to be more spiritual, then, if that's more important to you than relationships right now, then that's fine. It doesn't matter that they're all tens or, because you grade them kind of on a 1 to 10 basis of how well you like that in your life right now, or how well it's kind of like a snapshot in time of where you are right now. And that's all it is. And it's kind of a physical marker that you can then look at, in a month or 3 months or 6 months and say, hey, am I making progress in this area? And yeah, I was coaching someone and they're like, yeah, I changed jobs. And now she's changed jobs again to something she really loves. I'm like, yes. So I knew that the job she moved into wasn't quite right, but now she's doing it. So I'm so happy for her. So yeah, so you see that it's something that, sometimes it takes a little time because of our beliefs and because of we're in the physical. We've got to take a little time to set things up maybe, but things can happen pretty quick too. So.
That's wonderful. So again, can you tell everyone, and as soon as I get, when we're completed, I'll get all the links and put them in here. I apologize. I don't know how to do everything and put your name on here or anything. So I guess I have to take the little class. Sorry, but anyway, but I know you have a new class coming up. You've got a new Facebook group. So and we want to make sure that everyone knows how to reach you.
Yeah, sounds good.
So can you?
I have a website and I have do you want me to type it in or what?
No, I want you to share it right now verbally, and I'll type.
Okay. Sorry. So the class is starting March 9th, and it's on. And I actually, if you just go to my page, here I'll make a post on the Empowered. So my Facebook group is Empowered, Aware, and Thriving Network. And that's free to join. And that's just a networking kind of group, a supportive people that are consciously aware. Maybe you're wanting to explore how to make your life more where you want it, if it's including more spiritual path or not, doesn't matter. But empowered, aware, and thriving. That's what it's called, network. And then my class is deliberately creating with the universal laws, deliberately creating with the law of attraction, something like that. So, and that's on Eventbrite, but I have a link on my Facebook page as well.
Okay.
And my Facebook coaching page as well. And that's called Life Path Mastery, is what that is. And then I've got the website, and I do have a book as well. You can buy the book on my webpage, on my website. And the book is called Rising Clouds. Let me get it.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you. Yeah, I didn't. Oh, you have a hardback. I didn't find mine, or else I would have shown it already. Sorry. It's on the bookcase somewhere.
Well, yeah, Big Rising Clouds, Exploring Mind, Body, and Spirit. And it's about, it's my journey, as well as some cool things I wanted to share and get people aware of, and including dream interpretation and some health signs in your body, and just lots of basic kind of fundamental stuff, as well as working with energy a little bit. It's just a nice, if you're a beginner, it's a good start.
Connection. Yeah, that's great. Well, thank you so much. And I hope everyone will get a chance to go to Eileen's page, go to her Facebook group, And also go to her website. She's got a couple videos there that will help explain the benefits that you can glean from taking time and spending time with Eileen, because you'll see her light and her can-do worldview will help you be more productive and bring your dream life in to reality. That you'll see that from her. She's really very you're not getting, she's not being very boastful here. So but you can tell she's she's been an architect creating beautiful buildings, as well as raising an incredible family, and as well as holding these frequencies until everyone is ready to experience them themselves. So this is a great chance for you to have that experience, and it's very reasonably priced. And you're getting in where she's just getting started with a lot of this, so it's really a great value. So, right?
Yep, it is. It is.
Right. And thank you so much, Eileen. Thank you for who you are and everything you do. I really love everything. And I just wish you the best. I hope this helps get more and more eyes to your work, because it's remarkable. So thank you. Thank you. And
yeah, thanks everyone.
Is there anything else? Is there anything else that you would like to say? No, you're good. Okay.
Good.
Okay. Well, thank you. Have a nice snowy day. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye.